Welcome back, America. Katharine Ham, host of Getting Hammered podcast, my go-to, your morning show for any day in the morning. Mary Katharine, what did you think of last night?
I thought it was a pretty disappointing, not good performance from Trump. I think that he could have possibly sewn this thing up with the cleanest hit possible on that first question. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? The moderators were awful, but that was a gimme for him because she didn't answer the question and he could have come back and just could have flattened her. And he didn't do it. She did something pretty clever, which is that she ended all of her rehearsed answers with something she knew he wanted to talk about that was not the thing he should talk about, whether it was tariffs or rallies or immigration is not a good example because that's where he's actually on solid ground. Although even that, he took in a direction that did not serve him at all.
Did you make it to the end?
Yes, I watched the whole thing because I am like contractually obligated to do so. But this is why I think that first answer mattered, because I don't think that anything other than the first 30 minutes really matters. I think people tune out after
three
that.
Out of four people. No. 3 out of 4 people I was watching with left. Donald Trump had a fine closing statement, but he was down 7 runs and he scored 6.
Yep.
What did you make of the ABC moderator? You and I have both done debate, presidential debate. We both know. We know what the process is. I believe you worked with ABC, right? Did you do the ABC debate? And yeah. So I don't have an opinion of either of them till last night. That was the worst debate I've ever seen, and that includes the Chris Wallace debate. That includes the Candy Crowley interruption. That includes them all. That was the worst in the tank performance I've ever seen. Agree or disagree?
It was very bad, and I was actually a little surprised by Muir because I worked with him on the Republican debate, and ABC was quite generous about letting me be part of that process and ask several questions and also consult on other questions. Now that's a Republican primary debate, so that's different. They don't have as much on the line because their besties aren't in that arena. Their bestie was in that arena last night, and I just think there is absolutely no excuse if you're going to do live fact checking to get it wrong and to get it as lopsided as they did. It was very obvious what they were doing, but almost worse than the fact checking was whenever Trump did land a punch, when he did get his feet under him on an important issue, whether it was Afghanistan or immigration or the fact that she's vice president of this administration, they would move on. That's enough, Mr. President. We're going to go on to something different. Now, that is some real assist to her, and I think kept her. She was a little nervous. She was not bad. She wasn't bad. She didn't answer any question, I don't think, with the actual answer.
She was vapid.
But she was
not bad, yeah. But vapid.
Yes.
What did you make about not bringing up Arlington Cemetery? It was a controversy that dominated the last 2 weeks, and it was not brought up. But we heard about Springfield, Ohio, the dogs. We didn't hear that the city manager told him, I sent a letter to Congress on July 8th. We have 58,000 people in Springfield, and 15 to 20,000 Haitian immigrants have arrived here in the last 3 years. We need help. Well, I just couldn't believe that the city manager didn't tell them that. And David Muir did not relay any information to the country about what's going on in Springfield.
Yes. Here's the thing. I think people should understand Springfield, Ohio. But the thing about ABC is I was a little surprised by Muir. But I think if you look at ABC's record, it was predictable that you should be prepared for them to be against you. So the thing is, it was Trump's job to explain what's happening, right? And the way to do that is to use the numbers that you just suggested. And one other thing, there's a clip at one of these city council meetings where an older woman talks to her city council, and she's very sensitive about it. And she says, I got mattresses on my front lawn. I got people yelling at me who don't speak English. I am unsafe. I'm 95 pounds. My husband is elderly. What are we supposed to do? We've lived here for 45 years. Here's the important part. She says, I know they're here under special protected status. Who is protecting me? That is the message on immigration that so many people understand because they're living it. And if you tell that story instead of the pet story, or you tell the story of Lake and Riley or any number of people who've been hurt and families who have lost loved ones, then you're telling the story. The pets thing is too online and probably a little wrong, and it's just looks bad.
Yeah. There was there was fun. Again, the three out of four people that I were with left the room, including my wife and guests who were staying with us before the debate was over. And the last thing the guy from LA said was, "They're eating the dogs." You know, he was making a joke. And I think it was Trump had a bad debate. No getting around it. What was good about it though is they did talk a lot about the border, and there ain't any hiding that, Mary Catherine. If you're just Joe Bag of Donuts and it's the only thing you think you saw, who would you vote for here?
I think my concern for Trump is that a lot of his performance reminded people of why they're uncertain about pulling the lever for him, despite the fact that his record is better than the one of the last 4 years, right? People are concerned about it. And those concerns, I think, were given voice by him while he missed opportunities to define her. And that is on him, even though the moderators were mad.
Hang on one second, Mary Catherine Ham of Getting Hammered. I would like to ask you about the spin room, about J.D. Vance, and whether or not he'll kill Tim Walz, and whether there should be another debate. But we'll do that after the break. I'll put it on the podcast. America, don't go anywhere. I'm back with Mary Catherine Ham. Mary Catherine, I'm so angry at legacy media after that fiasco last night. I don't think Trump should accept another debate unless Brett Baer and Martha McCallum are moderating it. That doesn't mean it will be easy for him. They're fair. And I think J.D. Vance will take Tim Walz apart shoulder and limb, but no one's going to much see that. What do you think? Should he accept I gather Harris issued an invitation last night. Should he accept it, or should he accept it with condition?
Yeah, so I think it's dangerous for both of them. But they both have significant liabilities on a debate stage. And one of the things I would look forward to in a Walz-Vance debate is that at least it's two people who are good at talking. Right? Like what Harris and Trump, they're sort of like, you don't know what subject they're addressing in what moment. She's saying nothing, he's saying too much. So I think they have significant liabilities, both of them, and reasons not to do one. It probably serves the American people on the margins to do another one, but he absolutely can't take one with like an NBC or a network and trust them at all to do the job. They just are incapable of it, apparently.
So this brings me to the last question. I think legacy media is so broken. I think it will hurt ABC and its parent Disney. Do you? I don't believe in boycotts or stuff. I just think it was so obviously in the tank that Americans will be angry at ABC and Disney this morning, or am I just living in my conservative bubble?
I think the conservative bubble might be mad at them, right? But how many is that? Okay, so I do think what happens is this is an erosion of the idea of networks having debates at all. We're in this weird snap election where they've let this person answer almost no questions. There's probably going to be one debate. I don't think there's going to be another one because she did a good enough job that it's like, why does she get on the stage again? She's going to make him look like kind of a coward by saying no. I think that's going to be her attempt here. And I think the chances that we have a traditional debate style with an ABC, NBC, CBS in the future are much, much lower because of the job they did last night.
Not going to happen. Okay, bonus question, because we got time. She brought up 800,000 Polish Americans living in Pennsylvania. Nice stat. Tells me that they're very worried about Pennsylvania. They should be. Question. Did she sell fracking, her flip-flop on fracking, did she sell it to the Keystone State voters?
I was not convinced. I don't think she's often convincing. The beauty for her last night is that Trump was sort of distracting and did not dial in on her weaknesses. By the way, I want to note in that question, when it was a pretty tough question because she was asked about a list of things that she had flip-flopped on, but of course they let her skate on all of them but fracking.
They didn't follow up. Yeah.
She specifically said, I'm going to address every single one of the things that you brought up. And then she proceeded to address basically nothing. She mentioned fracking, did not explain it, and then moved on. And they were like, that's fine.
We still don't know her evolution, how she has the same values. And, it's like the easiest tee up. So have you taped Getting Hammered yet? Dwayne did a podcast last night. Commentary did a podcast. You and Vic have got to get together. I hope you didn't do it yesterday and don't do it for 3 more days. When is it going to drop?
No, I had to write last night, so we're doing it right after I get off of this radio interview, and it'll be out this morning.
Okay. Oh, thank goodness, because I got to walk a long way. I'm so angry with ABC because they did not serve the country and they made
Yeah,
legacy media look like buffoons. I mean,
it was very.
it's very hard to come to any other conclusion that you think Iger told him to do this.
I think that the conformity culture in media just says you can't knock this candidate out because they all can't stand the idea of it being a fair fight because they're worried about her and they're worried about him ever getting momentum. It just,
Yeah, do you
I
remember?
think that
Did you ever see the
the
movie Get
wins,
Shorty? This was Get
yes,
Donald. The movie is
yeah,
Get Donnie last night. And I just,
no.
well, I will listen to Getting Hammered when it drops. Go have a great podcast. My best to Vic Mattis, and thank you for staying along with me. Mary Catherine Ham, follow her at MK Hammer on X, and listen to Getting Hammered.